The question says, a sample containing only silver and oxygen is found to be 93.1% silver by mass. What is the empirical formula of the compound? So in this case, we're given the mass percent instead of the actual masses. Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to find the percent of oxygen. So we know it's 93.1% silver. So the rest, if it only contains silver and oxygen, must be oxygen. So if we take 100 minus 93.1, we will find that this is 6.9% oxygen. Okay, so 100 minus 93.1 gives us a 6.9% oxygen. Now what we need to do is we need to convert these percentages to moles so that we can then take a ratio and find the empirical formula. But there's no good way to convert percentages to moles. So what we need to do is we need to assume that we have 100 grams of this compound. Why? Because if we have 100 grams of this compound and it's 93.1% silver, it would be 93.1 of those 100 grams are silver, which happens to be Ag. And 6.9 of those 100 grams would be oxygen. Okay, so we're basically assuming that there's 100 grams, and then we could just read the percentages as grams. You could assume there was 2 grams if you wanted, multiply 2 by 0.931 and multiply it by 0.069, and you'd get the same answer. But it's easier to assume 100, so then we don't have to do any extra math. We could just use this as a grams, and we could just use this as a grams. Now we need to convert these to moles using the molar masses. Well, if we look at a periodic table, the molar mass of silver is 107.87 grams, which we want to put on the bottom. And on top, we want 1 mole of silver. When you do that math, you get 0.863 moles of silver. Now for oxygen, we repeat the same thing. In this case, we want to put the molar mass of oxygen, which is 16.00 grams of oxygen on the bottom, and 1 mole of oxygen on the top. When we do that, we get 0.43 moles of oxygen. Now we want a whole number ratio, which means we want a number and a number bigger than 1. So we're going to divide by the smaller one. In this case, 0.43 is smaller than 0.863. So we divide by 0.43. This one comes out to be 1. Since this is a smaller one, this number will come out to be bigger than 1. So we divide here by 0.43, and when we do that, we get 2.01, which is approximately 2. This means there's 2 silvers for every 1 oxygen. If we want to write this as an empirical formula, it is Ag2O. Note that the numbers are not the answer. The formula is the answer to this question.